السلام عليكم. صباح الخير. السلام عليكم. رمضان مبارك كريم. Let me see if everyone is here. أهلا وسهلا. محمد نحن جاهزون. جميل ما شاء الله. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله. أهلا محمد. أهلا أهلا ما شاء الله. أهلا. We're gonna wait for a few people to join us. And as we are waiting, please use the live chat. And I'm going over everybody's comments and greetings. Just let us know where you're from before we get started, inshallah. We're going to wait for a few people to join us. We have so many first time study pals, as we say, study friends. أصدقاء الدراسة. وعليكم السلام. We're going to be marking attendance now. Alhamdulillah بخير. سويانتو أهلا وسهلا. مرحبا. شهر رمضان مبارك. جميل جدا. وعليكم السلام. هل تسمعونني جيدا؟ هل تسمعونني جيدا؟ Do you all hear me well? نعم. أهلا من قطر. أهلا. Ramadan Mubarak, everyone. أهلا وسهلا. Thank you for joining today. This is our first study session. I'm not lucky in terms of getting sick on the first week of Ramadan. So if you hear my voice, صوتي هناك كحة, a little bit of cough, but inshallah it should go away inshallah soon. So Ramadan Mubarak to everyone. Thank you for joining and thank you for filling out the form. I looked at it, mashallah, we have a great number. Most of the people who filled out the form are first time learners or first time participants with us in the live study session. The way we start the study session, that we have to make sure we have our pens and papers. You have your notebook. I'm gonna grab mine. Any notebook you have, just make sure you have access to a notebook where you can just take like quick notes during our session. I'll be sharing a worksheet. We'll go over a few phrases where we can just like kind of review past vocab, and I can also check everybody's level. I hope that everyone will be committed with us during Ramadan, meaning we'll be meeting inshallah every Saturday at 8 a.m. The first week will be just to get to know everyone. We'll go over some words and some phrases. We'll go over also some drills, and I'll share my content with you in a few minutes just to make sure everyone is here. So what do you have to do during the live study session? You grab your notes. If you're able to type in Arabic, just make sure you do use your keyboard. So I'll give you a moment to change the Arabic keyboard or change to the Arabic keyboard. And just so we can make sure that we're getting everyone with us. There we go. Narrow. Let's see. Ramadan Mubarak. Marhaban, marhaban. Okay. Notebook, pen. If you're streaming this on your device, make sure you have also the audio to max, just in case you can't hear me. Also, make sure you are taking notes and keep your questions until the end, so I can make sure that everyone's answer is everyone's question is answered accordingly, inshallah. يلا على بركة الله. هل أنتم جاهزون? Are you all ready? جاهزون يا شباب? جاهزون. In the live chat, I'd like to hear عندي قلم وعندي دفتر. عندي قلم وعندي دفتر. عندي قلم means I have a pen, and عندي دفتر I have a notebook. So عندي قلم عندي دفتر. Oh, باتريسيا وعليكم السلام. جميل جدا. Okay. So let's make sure we get this phrase in the live chat. عندي قلم وعندي دفتر. عندي قلم وعندي دفتر. Okay. عندي قلم وعندي دفتر. Can someone write it down? I have a pen and I have a notebook. I have a pen and I have a notebook. Let me share my screen with everyone. You can see it. 1 full hour today, and we'll keep the questions and answers until the end. We'll also make sure that it's 8 a.m. inshallah during Ramadan. If you haven't filled out the form, you'll find the link in the community page. Get a pen and paper, and here is عندي قلم وعندي دفتر. ممتاز باتريسيا. عندي قلم وعندي دفتر. دفتر. ممتاز. دفاتر ما شاء الله. If you have many notebooks, then it's great. عندي قلم وعندي دفتر. أحسنت باتريسيا وأحسنت عباسي. ممتاز. جميل. So you have to participate in the live chat. Make sure you're also responding to my instructions. If I ask you to help me with the translation, also participate in the live chat. Write in Arabic, type in Arabic. All of that will help you, inshallah, increase your Arabic vocabulary, and keep joining our live session and community page. Hopefully, inshallah, by the end of this session, I'll be sharing with you a link where you can interact with one another as participants. That way I know who is with us during the live study session. I will occasionally mute myself just in case I get a little cough. Just making sure everyone will know this. I might mute myself during the session. Yalla, we'll start inshallah ala barakatillah. The first thing we're going to do, you have to tell me where you're coming from and what time it is right now. So what I'm going to do is I will say min aina antum, min aina anta, wa min aina anti. If you're unable to type in Arabic, you can use transliteration. So my question would be min aina anta or min aina anti. And my worksheet will be coming next, inshallah. Min aina anta or anti, وكم الساعة الآن. كم is what time. You would say كم also if when you're saying how much. كم الساعة الآن. What time is it now? من أين أنت؟ كم الساعة الآن. If you're trying to tell me time, you would say الساعة, take الساعة and bring it over here and say الساعة, and of course الآن, you would say now. الساعة الآن. And if it's الثامنة, التاسعة, you would just use the number like السادسة, الثامنة, but you add an alif and ta مربوطة at the end. So if I'm going to say ثمانية, that's 8, right? But الثامنة is like 8 o'clock, like the eighth hour. That's what I'm saying. So الساعة الآن 8 صباحا. أنا من, and you would say your country. أنا من, and then you say أنا الساعة الآن 8 صباحا or مساء. So we rewrite it again. Here we go. الساعة الثامنة. And you can say صباحا in the morning. Like here in America, I'm in the States. In the US, I would say الساعة الثامنة صباحا. It's 8 a.m. الساعة الثامنة صباحا. If it's in the afternoon, you would say مساء or evening. You would say مساء, evening, which is PM basically. مساء. جميل. Okay, so let's see. ما شاء الله. أهلا جاكي. أو أهلا روبرت. أنا من كاليفورنيا والساعة 5 صباحا. ما شاء الله، الساعة الآن 5 صباحا. جميل جدا، ممتاز. أنا من الفلبين. أهلا جاكي. أنا من الفلبين. كم الساعة الآن؟ What time is it now? كم الساعة الآن؟ باتريسيا. أنا من الكويت والساعة 3:15 مساء. So you can also write the number as it is, and then I'll read it to you in Arabic. That way you can take notes of it. So أنا من الكويت والساعة الآن now 3:15. ربع is a quarter. 3:15. 3:15. جميل. الساعة الآن 3:15. كم الساعة الآن؟ Let's see another answer. أنا من الباكستان لكن أعيش في قطر. الساعة الآن 3:00 مساء. So I think most of you come from 3 p.m. time zone. So I will write 3:00. And I will be writing the time I'm seeing or I'm looking at in the chat, and I will tell you how to mention time. So الساعة الآن 5:00 6:00 8:00. So we said الثامنة. That's the first one we said. الثامنة, which is 8, the 8th. I see people saying الثالثة. Here you go. الثالثة, 3rd. ممتاز. And الخامسة, 5th. الخامسة. And we're also referring to like the order, like الثامنة, الواحدة. We don't say الأولى, say الواحدة. ممتاز ما شاء الله. جميل. يلا على بركة الله. Now we got the time. جيد. ممتاز. The second part I would ask is to mention your names. So أنا اسمي رجاء. You can call me أستاذة رجاء. So Raja is my name, and Raja in Arabic, Raja in Arabic means hope. I know in some other cultures or languages, they would refer to Raja as a king, but it's Raja in Arabic with Hamza. But it's, I think Rani is queen, right? If I'm mistaken. جيد. ممتاز. جميل جدا. أوكي. أنا من الإمارات العربية المتحدة. الساعة الآن 4:20. جميل جدا. ممتاز. Now let's get to our I'm going to go to our worksheet that we're going to share today. I'm glad everyone was able to activate the live chat, and then you're able also to write in Arabic. And I see Muzna, الساعة 8. ممتاز مزنة. ممتاز باتريسيا. جميل. محمد وسباشن. ممتاز. الآن I'll start with the worksheet that I have. I see some of our Arabic Khatawat students here, so I'm sure they have this copy. So you can refer to it. We're going to go over nouns and gerunds. Nouns and gerunds. And in order for us to understand what is a noun and what is a gerund, we have to look at the verb. We have to look at the single form of the verb, and we have to look at the gerund, which comes from a verb. So a gerund and a noun are quite different in terms of when I say gerund and I say a noun, they're different in one aspect, that a gerund refers to the ing form, which is the noun of the verb. Noun of the verb. But when I say a noun, I can think of house. And I can also think of living, which is a gerund of the verb to live. And if I'm thinking also of just like plural forms, I'm saying like friends, singular, plural forms, all of those are nouns. Nouns can be human and non-human. They can be also houses, but gerunds are always related to action. Gerunds are always related to action. If you hear a gerund, you would hear the word. So here I'm referring to the gerund. You would hear the word masdar in Arabic. Masdar. And masdar refers to the source. And if you're saying source, you're referring to the source of the action, which is becoming now and noun. I'll give you this example of takallama. Takallama. Takallama is he spoke, and which is the third person masculine in the past. And this is usually the infinitive. So I would say takallama, he spoke. Takallama, I'll take that one. Takallama, he spoke. And if I'm saying yatakallam, I'll take the chat away just so I can make sure everyone sees this without distractions. There you go. If I'm going to say the present tense, I will always refer to huwa, because I need to remember how to say the past and the present in the third person, which is a he. Third person masculine. تكلم يتكلم. التكلم is speaking, and this is my gerund. التكلم, speaking, which is the action to speak or to talk. So أنا أتكلم. When I say I speak, I would only change the third person verb conjugation. And we'll be looking at some examples so you can see how I'm using the third person, referring to a friend, maybe referring to a brother, referring to a dad, but I'm using the third person masculine, which is huwa. Stay with me and let me know if you can translate the first sentence. صديقي يتكلم 3 لغات. صديقي يتكلم 3 لغات. Ya Allah, who can tell me what does this mean? صديقي يتكلم 3 لغات. I'm going to get the chat going again. ما معنى صديقي يتكلم 3 لغات? I'll zoom in so you can see just the sentence. صديقي يتكلم 3 لغات. ممتاز. My friend speaks 3 languages. ممتاز. So صديقي is third person. صديقي. صديقي يتكلم 3 لغات. صديقي يتكلم 3 لغات. And I'm using yeah. If I'm saying صديقتي, my female friend, what's going to happen to the verb? How am I going to conjugate the verb? Are you going to say يتكلم? I'm saying صديقتي, صديقتي, صديقتي. And 3 لغات, 3 languages, and 3 is masculine because languages is feminine. This is just for those who are familiar with numbers. How am I going to say صديقتي speaks? ممتاز. ما شاء الله. صحيح. جيد. صديقتي تتكلم. صديقتي تتكلم. جميل. صديقتي تتكلم 3 لغات. Now, I understand that تكلم has a ت in it. Then I'm going to say أريد أن أتكلم لغة جديدة أو لغة جديدة. ما معنى أريد أن أتكلم لغة جديدة؟ يلا someone to translate that in the live chat. ما شاء الله. ممتاز يا باتريسيا وجاكي. يلا أريد أن أتكلم لغة جديدة. And I'll put the translation right next to the sentence. Now that we understood what is a gerund and what is a noun and how we can tell a gerund from a noun. So we said my female friend, it would be تتكلم. There we go. And we keep 3 لغات. Now أريد أن أتكلم لغة جديدة. ممتاز. أريد أن أتكلم لغة جديدة. So هنا صديقي, my friend, speaks. And again, the speaks here, which is S in English, it changes in Arabic. You can have ta or you can have ya because it depends on the verb. If it's, on the subject, if it's masculine or feminine. أريد أن أتكلم لغة جديدة. ممتاز. أهلا هذا. جيد. أريد, I want to speak a new language. ممتاز. Now, here is the tricky part with gerunds. That's why I'm introducing these 3 steps you need to be aware of. If I'm using a verb, I have to make sure that the verb follows a subject. So here in this case, I have my friend. But if I'm using 2 verbs, and I've said this in multiple live sessions, but this is for people who are new. I have verb 1 and verb 2. The first verb is in the present tense, meaning that the second verb must be in the present tense. So I want to speak. أريد أن أتكلم. Now the gerund, the third part, is أريد تكلم لغة جديدة. So ما معنى أريد تكلم لغة جديدة؟ أريد تكلم لغة جديدة. ممتاز. Nothing changes. So I'm keeping the exact same translation. You see Heather's translation right there? I want to speak a new language. I can say either this one, which is number 2, أريد أن أتكلم لغة جديدة, or I say أريد تكلم لغة جديدة. In the first part, I said أريد plus أن plus أتكلم. And I have to say أتكلم. Over here, I said أريد تكلم. I used a gerund over here. And a gerund can have alif lam, but in this case, you cannot put alif lam because you're adding more information. So you need to make sure that your verb does not have alif lam. Your gerund does not have alif lam. Verbs never have alif lam, but your gerund should not have alif lam. أريد تكلم لغة جديدة. The translation does not change. ممتاز, Rosman. Now I'll introduce the other verbs, okay? And I'll let you take your time to translate. So I'll go with 2 verbs at a time. The same steps were followed. We look at the third person masculine. We look at the this present tense, and then we'll look at the gerund, which is the source, the noun of the verb. Then we have to see all of those 3 words in actual sentences. Can you all see my screen clearly? If not, I'll zoom in. That's better, I think. This is better, right? Now. Okay. So let me zoom in so you can see it better. And I'll introduce the verbs. and then I'll introduce the sentences. And you can tell from the pictures right there. يلا ممتاز. جميل. Now, the verb I have is ساق 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 ساق. ساق يسوق السياقة. فنقول ساق يسوق السياقة. ماذا ساق؟ ساق سيارة. ساق دراجة. So you ride or you is it you ride or you drive? Let's see. Is it riding or driving here? ساق. Is it ride or drive? I'll give you these two options. أهلا أنطونيو. شباب ساقة ride or drive؟ ممتاز ممتاز جميل. ساقة would be ride. Are you sure? Patricia, there you go. It's kind of tricky actually. Here we go. I'll tell you the difference between ساقة وركبة. If you're saying ركبة and you're saying ساقة, ركبة you actually ride and ساقة you drive. But when you say ركبة, you can say it as a passenger. But in English, sometimes you say like, I ride my bike. أركب دراجتي. أركب دراجتي. In Arabic, you say أسوق سيارتي. أسوق سيارتي. أسوق دراجتي. You can say that as well. Like I mean, it's hard to translate it to English and say I drive my bike, because we don't say I drive my bike. We say I ride my bike. But in Arabic, you have to be quite specific as well. So you need to make sure you say saqa with a car, and rakiba, just think that you are a passenger. So it is to drive. أسوق سيارتي. Drive. هنا صحيح صحيح ممتاز جميل جدا. فركب is to ride. And I also get confused sometimes. So you're not the only ones. Sometimes I go like, is it I ride, أركب, or أسوق? But based on this scenario, you will kind of reinforce when to use them. So if you're driving your car, you would say أسوق سيارتي إلى العمل. Here we go. The first one, أسوق سيارتي كل صباح. Now give me the translation if you can. أسوق سيارتي كل صباح. أسوق سيارتي كل صباح. Second one, لا أستطيع أن أسوق سيارتي. I'll zoom in. There you go. If you can give me the translation for these three sentences. أسوق سيارتي كل صباح. لا أستطيع أن أسوق سيارتي اليوم. تعلمت السياقة عندما كنت في المدرسة الثانوية. So, أسوق سيارتي كل صباح. Now you have to translate, which is ترجم. بالإنجليزية, if you see any new word, just write it down into your notebook. أسوق سيارتي كل صباح. لا أستطيع أن أسوق سيارتي اليوم. تعلمت السياقة عندما كنت في المدرسة الثانوية. And we have المدرسة الثانوية. Could be translated to one word. وتعلمت السياقة عندما كنت في. So you break down the translation if you would like to do like verbatim, word by word. جيد. So the first one would be أسوق سيارتي كل صباح. أحسنتي Heather. جميل جدا. I drive my car every morning. جيد. أحسنتي Heather. أحسنت عباسي. لا أستطيع أن أسوق سيارتي اليوم. جميل. جميل. I am not able to drive my car today. ممتاز. لا أستطيع. What's another word for لا أستطيع? We have a synonym. يعني يمكن أن أقول I can say لا أستطيع or I can say something else. لا أستطيع. لا أستطيع or ممتاز. لا أستطيع. And we have another word for لا أستطيع. We can say لا أستطيع. أنا آسفة لا أستطيع. I can't. لا أستطيع. لا أستطيع. لا أستطيع. Close. باقي. So what is another word for لا أستطيع? We can say لا أستطيع or we can say لا. ممتاز. Antonio, close. So yes, it comes from ممكن. So ممكن is possible. ممتاز. Antonio, ممتاز. So ممكن is possible. فلا ممكن, we say ممكن, possible يعني. But we say لا يمكن. لا يمكن. It's not possible. But I need to say, like, I cannot. So remember, we have لا يمكن. It's not possible. لا يمكن. I'm just going to clear this part. We say لا يمكن, but then we say لا يمكن. I take لا يمكن and I add me here. لا يمكنني. I cannot. لا يمكنني. هل يمكنك أن؟ لا 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 يمكنني. هل يمكنك أن تأكلي؟ هل يمكنك أن تشربي؟ Can you eat? Can you drink? لا لا لا. أنا صائمة. I'm fasting. So you'd say لا يمكنني أن آكل. I cannot eat because I'm fasting لأني صائمة. أو ممتاز Sebastian. جيد. لا أقدر. Here is another one. I do not have the capacity. قدرة. It comes from ability and capacity to do something. أنا ما أقدر. صحيح Sebastian. That's another synonym. We say لا أقدر. See, I love this. Everyone is bringing new words. ممتاز. لا أقدر. I cannot. Like, I don't have the capacity. لا أقدر. We use that a lot in my dialect. جيد. We say like ما قدرتش. Because I'm Moroccan, I would say ما قدرتش. I couldn't. ممتاز. Now the third one, I see that some of you already wrote it down. تعلمت السياقة عندما كنت في المدرسة الثانوية. تعلمت السياقة عندما كنت في المدرسة الثانوية. Let me see. Number 3. Okay. ممتاز. I learned to drive when I was in something school. ممتاز. جيد. So المدرسة الثانوية. Let's see if someone got المدرسة الثانوية. المدرسة الثانوية. We can say المدرسة الابتدائية. المدرسة الثانوية. ممتاز. جميل. صحيح. يعني so it's high school. We would say high school. المدرسة الثانوية. صحيح. We would say high school. Like anything that is in ثانوية secondary. صحيح. But we say high school For المدرسة الثانوية. المدرسة الإعدادية would be middle school. So it's like preparatory. It prepares you. So الإعدادية middle school. الابتدائية is elementary. So I'm just gonna go like H, M, and E. High school, middle school, and elementary school. And madrasa, you have to say the word madrasa. So al-madrasa. جميل. So we would say al-madrasa, al-madrasa. الابتدائية المدرسة الثانوية until 10th grade. ممتاز. High school. جميل جدا. الآن we got to see how we over here we put the gerund السياقة with ألف لام. You can pause the video if you'd like to take notes. If you review, just come to this part and pause or take a screenshot as we go over some new words. But something I'd like to highlight over here, and I'll zoom out, that sometimes you can put the gerund with alif lam. So تعلمت السياقة. I learned driving. I learned driving. تعلمت السياقة. If I said تعلمت سياقة السيارة, سيارة, and I say السيارة, سياقة has to have no alif lam because I mentioned السيارة. But over here I didn't mention anything. Driving what? I just said السياقة. So تعلمت السياقة, driving with capital D basically, عندما كنت في المدرسة الثانوية. الآن this other part we have تخرج يتخرج التخرج. فنقول تخرج تخرج تخرج. ما معنى تخرج؟ يتخرج التخرج. From the picture, can someone put the translation? يلا يلا. ما معنى تخرج؟ تخرج تخرج. ممتاز. Graduate. What is another verb we would kind of confuse with تخرج? Another verb we usually confuse with this one. Every time you learn these two words or verbs, you kind of confuse them. Graduate can be also misused, or you put another verb. Mumtaz. Okay, there you go. There you go. Excellent. So now, so when you're saying ta, kha, ra, ja, and I'm talking about takharraja over here, you might confuse it with kharaja, to exit. Ahsant. Ahsant, exit, to get out. Mumtaz. So we say kharaja, he left. You also say like kharaja min al-bayt, he got out of the house, like he left, he exited the house. ونقول exit the house. نعم. خرج من البيت. ولكن هنا التخرج is graduation. If you would like to remember how to differentiate the two verbs, make sure you understand their gerund. So the gerund would be al-khuruj. If you're at the airport and you need to exit, you'll find a sign that says al-khuruj, exit. al-khuruj, al-khuruj. فنقول خرج. ولكن تخرج هنا is graduate. And التخرج. Now let's look at the sentences and see if you're able to understand them. This is all a review so we can understand how far we can go with these sentences. يلا. We covered the first. No, ما شاء الله, we're doing a good job. ما شاء الله, ما شاء الله. Okay. تخرجت من الجامعة منذ 3 سنوات. Who can translate this now in the chat? And just number them. I'll give you some time. I'll read again and again and make sure you are also articulating those sounds with me. تخرجت من الجامعة منذ 3 سنوات. يريد ابني أن يتخرج من الجامعة ويعمل في شركة دولية. استطاع ابني التخرج والعمل في شركة أحلامه. تخرجت من الجامعة منذ 3 سنوات. يريد ابني أن يتخرج من الجامعة ويعمل في شركة دولية. استطاع ابني التخرج والعمل في شركة أحلامه. ممتاز. I'll give you time. Don't leave. You're here. I can see you. So just make sure you're typing in Arabic or you're taking notes. If you're taking notes, say أنا أكتب. I am writing. That way I know you're there, but you're writing. And if you are an Arabic instructor and you're joining us, make sure you also participate and be part of this class. Don't be a ghost participant. Just make sure you're using your skills as well as an instructor. جميل. تخرجت من الجامعة منذ 3 سنوات. يريد ابني أن يتخرج من الجامعة ويعمل في شركة دولية. استطاع ابني التخرج والعمل في شركة أحلامه. ممتاز هذا. أنا أكتب. ما شاء الله هذا. أحسنتي. جميل جدا. Okay. ممتاز. So I'm going to take the translation now. I graduated from the university 3 years ago. صحيح. تخرجت من الجامعة منذ 3 سنوات. ممتاز. Pay attention to this one. If I'm saying your name right, Yemberzel? The Yemberzel? Okay. Now, so يريد ابني. So it's not me who wants. هو يريد ابني. ممتاز. يريد ابني أن يتخرج. We're using the verb تخرج, which we just translated. يريد ابني أن يتخرج. ممتاز. So the second one, I'm sorry. أحسنتي. My son wants to graduate from the university and work at an international company. صحيح. So my son wants to graduate. صحيح. And I see how I'm translating and I'm saying from the university because I'm referring to the Arabic the. So when I translate it like that, it would be a reference to the as alif lam. ممتاز. أحسنت Sebastian. My son wants to graduate from university and work in an international company. My son was able to graduate and work in the company of his dreams. أحسنت Sebastian. ممتاز. أحسنتي Jackie. أحسنتي Patricia. أحسنت Sebastian. ولي أحسنت. I graduated from the university like 3 years ago. منذ. صحيح. منذ is a reference to since. Like you can use منذ for since, منذ زمن, like, but you can also, I mean, the translation depending on the context, but this in this context, it means ago. ممتاز. جميل. استطاع is the past of يستطيع. So the alif you have over here becomes a ya. So we have استطاع, he was able. استطاع. فنقول يستطيع. And when you're writing down or going back to this, remember to highlight, not what I just highlighted, to highlight this over here. Okay, just the alif, it's not highlighted. I love technology, but sometimes it disappoints me. There you go. Just the alif you have over here becomes ya. استطاع يستطيع. استطاع يستطيع. Most of the verbs that have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters, the fifth letter would be a long vowel alif. You would usually change it to a ya. Just a note you can remember. Okay, now we're going to move on to the other part. We're good with time now. جيد. And I'm going to start giving you more sentences. And I see, mashallah, if I show everyone the chat, I'm actually going to show it over here. Look at this, mashallah. Everybody was able to translate the sentences over and over and over in a way to help others also see it. So I'm really pleased with your participation. Shukran jazilan. Now I'm going to be challenging you a little bit more, inshallah. Okay, so I will go for the verb nama, yanamu, النوم. وزار يزور الزيارة. What is the first meaning? And what's the second meaning? نام ينام النوم وزار يزور الزيارة. ما معنى نام ينام النوم وما معنى زار يزور الزيارة؟ ممتاز. جميل أنطونيو. ما معنى نام؟ أنا نام. أنا نام or أنا نمت? Do I say أنا نام or I say أنا نمت? ممتاز. ممتاز. Sleep and visit. أحسنتم. So if I'm going to say nama and I'm going to say zara, I'm introducing a new set of verbs. And these verbs are unique in a way that they have alif as their second letter. That makes them irregular verbs. So if I'm going to say nama or zara, I have to understand what is the present tense. So here, I don't change alif and I say yanamu, yanamu. But zara, I do change alif and I say yazuru, he visits. That's why it's really important to go check. I know the past, I know the present, I know the gerund. Nama yanamu, no. And you memorize them just like that, in this exact same order. You go nama yanamu, zara yazuru, النوم الزيارة. Anytime you learn a new verb, you have to understand its singular form in the past, in the present, and its noun. جميل, he slept. Now, remember that it's an irregular verb. So in the examples that I have over here, I'll zoom so you can see the examples only. Here we go. Okay. أنام باكرا. And I'm going to count from 1 to 6 here since I have all of them here. Take your time to type. And also make sure you're writing your questions or because I'm going to take your questions at the end, inshallah. We're almost done with this worksheet. and I'll be giving you a little bit of a practice afterwards, inshallah. Okay. أنام باكرا في آخر الأسبوع, which possible يعني. أنام باكرا في آخر الأسبوع. أحتاج أن أنام باكرا قبل السفر. أريد النوم في فندق هذه الليلة. زار أحمد صديقه في البيت الجديد. أحمد يريد أن يزور بيت صديقه. أحمد يريد زيارة صديقه. I'll give you time to go over these 6 sentences, and I'm leaving the chat over there so everyone can see your participation. Yeah. And you can also help them with the translation. So أنام باكرا في آخر الأسبوع. ما هي ترجمتها؟ أحتاج أن أنام باكرا قبل السفر. أريد النوم في فندق هذه الليلة. زار أحمد صديقه في البيت الجديد. أحمد يريد أن يزور بيت صديقه. وأحمد يريد زيارة صديقه. And the 23 participants that are still with us will get a link to these worksheets, so you can have access to them, inshallah. Just make sure you fill out the form. ممتاز. ممتاز. One more minute to get everyone to participate. Yalla. ممتاز. Now I'm going to play the translation right on. Sorry about that. Okay. ممتاز. أحسنتي Jackie. I sleep early in the weekend. I need to sleep early before traveling. I want to sleep in a hotel tonight. أحسنتي. جميل جدا. أو أحسنت روبرت. جيد. ممتاز. أحسنت روبرت. Muhammad, we'll go. Let me keep the order so I don't confuse you. Now we got 3. I'll go to number 4. Ahmed visited his friend in his new house. Mumtaz. So it would be in the new house. If I had placed like في بيته الجديد, then it would be in his new house. صحيح. Which I mean, it conveys the exact same meaning. But if you're saying في بيته الجديد, then that would be the exact translation. بيته بيته الجديد. ممتاز. بيته الجديد. أحسنتم. ممتاز. Now we got to the fifth. Ahmed wants to visit his friend at his new house. Okay, fourth one. ممتاز. ممتاز. So in the fifth one is أحمد يزور في بيت صديقه. Okay. So بيت صديقه is his friend's house. So here it's kind of confusing if you're putting أحمد زار أحمد صديقه. This is his friend. It comes right after أحمد. And here أحمد يريد أن يزور بيت صديقه. This would be his friend's house. بيته, his house, and new, like his new house. But here في بيت صديقه. ممتاز. The last one, إن شاء الله آخر جملة. ممتاز. جميل. أحسنتي باتريسيا. And أحمد يريد زيارة صديقه. The translation I'm providing here might be a bit like kind of the word order I'm providing here is intentional, because what I'm trying to convey in this is that if you're saying زار أحمد صديقه, صديقه would be the object, like who is he visiting? His friend. So صديقه, صديقه. And then you would say في البيت الجديد, in the new house. في البيت الجديد. If I am saying something like أحمد زار صديقه without البيت الجديد, it's still a complete sentence. You can still say أحمد زار صديقه, باتريسيا زارت صديقتها, خلاص, and we just put period over here. If you're adding more information, then the other information has to follow a whole different order, meaning like different grammar. It does not follow the first order. So here, زار أحمد صديقه, this is an object. And then the fatha over here, just because it's an object. Now, if you're saying في البيت الجديد, البيت الجديد follows في, it does not follow أحمد or the verb. Okay, so that's why the order is different. ممتاز. Now the last one we have, mashallah, we finished the first worksheet. أكل الرجل, أحمد, I'm still thinking about Ahmed. أكل الرجل الغداء مع عائلته. يريد الرجل أن يأكل الغداء مع عائلته. يريد الرجل أكل الغداء مع عائلته. Now I'll give you time to translate this. And you can see that أكل from the picture is to eat. Now, what would be the translation of these three sentences? أكل الرجل الغداء مع عائلته. يريد الرجل أن يأكل الغداء مع عائلته. يريد الرجل أكل الغداء مع عائلته. يلا أحسنتم شباب. Last one, and I'll take your questions inshallah. Because we have another translation part. Maybe we'll assign that as a practice where you have to write in Arabic. أكل الرجل الغداء مع عائلته. يريد الرجل أن يأكل الغداء مع عائلته. يريد الرجل أكل الغداء مع عائلته. صحيح. The man eats lunch with his family. جميل. If we're gonna say, there's a good one. So أكل would be يأكل. So if I'm going to say يأكل الرجل, then this would be the present tense. ممتاز. أحسنت يا زميل. جميل. جيد. So it would be the man ate lunch with his family. يريد الرجل. ممتاز. يريد الرجل. The man wants to eat lunch with his family. ممتاز. يريد الرجل أن يأكل الغداء مع عائلته. أحسنت. And the last one is the exact same thing as the second one. So these two have the exact same translation. يريد الرجل أكل الغداء مع عائلته would mean the exact same thing as يريد الرجل أن يأكل الغداء مع عائلته. The only difference is I'm following يريد and I'm following this verb plus n plus verb structure. Whereas in here, I'm just using يريد verb plus gerund. I have no n. Verb plus gerund. This is the subject. يريد الرجل أكل الغداء. This is the subject. This is the verb. And this one is gerund. أكل looks like أكل. They have the exact same spelling. But when you're pronouncing them, you have to make sure that you're saying أكل, he ate, but أكل, eaten, as eating as a gerund. ممتاز يا شباب. جميل جدا. How many of you are comfortable writing in Arabic? And if you are comfortable writing in Arabic, this would be a perfect practice for you. So this worksheet, you will be able to access it, and then you'll see I need to go to bed early before traveling. What is it in Arabic? Now you went over everything, all the content, the verb, the translation. Now you have to deviate or move to a whole different direction where you're writing in Arabic only, and you're looking at the structure you've practiced over here. Where is the gerund? How do I write the gerund? How do I write the verb conjugation? How do I put my words in the exact same order they are presented in Arabic? And then you look at that. For next time, inshallah, I'll be asking you to type in Arabic. We'll have more practice for the gerunds. But now let me take your questions. I'll use this space for questions. Let me get أسئلة. ممتاز. How was the pace today? Now question time. How was the pace today? Do you feel that the pace was suitable to your level? I'll use this space. يلا شباب. Now it's question time. أسئلة شباب. هل عندكم أي أسئلة؟ And we say كيف كان الدرس؟ How was the lesson? كيف كان الدرس؟ هل كان الدرس صعب؟ هل hard, difficult؟ هل كان الدرس سهل؟ easy. هل كان الدرس يعني شوي سهل؟ أنا أقول also like simplified مبسط. مبسط is simplified. It comes from بسيط, simple. بسيط. So كيف كان الدرس؟ هل الدرس كان صعب? And you can just say صعب like this. سهل, you can also type it like this. سهل. مبسط, you can type it like this. Oh, Kent, you joined us. Tess. It's okay. Alhamdulillah. Barakallahu fik ya Kent. I'm glad you were able to join us. Christina أهلا. Okay. يلا. Good pace, Patricia. ممتاز. Good pace, alhamdulillah. Okay. So for all of you who are still here, I want to make sure that you submitted the form so I can put you in a group together. Only those who participated. Let's see. I will send you the form right now. And in the form, this would be the keyword. You have to tell me, I participated in the live chats. Is it I participated in the live chat? جيد. Okay. Let me send you the form and then you fill it out so I can put you in a group where you can engage and discuss as a community. Yalla. Multitasking. جيد جيد جيد. Okay. I see that some of you have already, mashallah, over 200 people were able to fill out the form. And I guess due to the time zone, many people will be going back to the recording. No, I don't have Discord. La. But I'll have a platform for you to join, inshallah. You'll have to visit the website ArabicKhatawaat.com and just make sure you request membership. That way we can add you, inshallah, to the group. So for today's lesson, just to have a recap, we went over the verb and the translation of verbs and their gerunds. I know you've probably seen this many times, but the more you practice this structure, the better you become in forming cohesive sentences. When you're using a verb, you know what you're using a verb with. When you're using a gerund, you know what a gerund means. I know we're referring to it as a noun as well, but it's masdar like I explained it earlier in the lesson. So here are your questions. Mumtaz, I can see some questions. Question, what is the usage of meaning of ma'a? Sorry. No, Kent, I didn't mean you. But for those who were not present at the beginning of the session, you have to give me the keyword. I participated. جيد. Mumtaz. So the question is, what is the usage or meaning of ma'a? Mumtaz. If I'm using ma'a, I would say with. But if I'm using be, I would also refer to with. But ma means like with a person. So أنا أدرس مع Patricia وجاكي. They're here with us. أنا أدرس معهم في نفس الصف. أنا أتكلم مع Kent. I'm talking to Kent. ولكن I cannot say like أنا أتكلم مع. I can use مع as to. And I can also use it as with. So أنا أتكلم معك. I'm talking to you. Meaning I'm having a conversation with you. So you would use مع in that case. If you're saying أتكلم بي, you're speaking using something as a tool. So usually if you have be, it means it's a tool. أكتب بقلم. I write with a pen. أكتب بقلم. I cannot say أكتب مع قلم. But if I'm saying أكتب مع Jackie, I'm writing with Jackie, like both of us are involved in the action of writing. So that's the difference of ma compared to B. Chris, one of our students, he calls B as Mr. B. And then Lee is also confusing. We call it Mr. Lee. So Chris, if you're listening, you'll remember the Mr. B and Mr. Lee. جميل جدا. Now, let's see. ممتاز Christina. جيد Christina. So please just access the form and let me know that you were with us. That way I can put you in a group and you can just review the questions and you'll have access to the worksheets in that group. Only those who were with us today will be able to join that group so we can have kind of a smaller interactions. It's manageable. I just want to make sure I want to have a manageable group. That way I can interact with everyone, inshallah. Okay, ممتاز يا شباب. Are you ready for next Saturday? جيد. ممتاز. صحيح. B is instrumental. أحسنت. شكرا. ممتاز. Any other questions شباب? Any other questions? أسئلة أخرى؟ أسئلة أخرى؟ Any other questions? جيد جدا. ممتاز. ممتاز. Alhamdulillah. So thank you so much for joining today. It was really nice to get to see everyone. People, I recognize so many people in the live chat. Thank you for joining us today and for participating. Just make sure you fill out the form so I can provide the worksheet and you can study for next Saturday, inshallah. Ramadan Mubarak to you all. تقبل الله صيامنا وصيامكم. If you're observant, may Allah accept our fasting this month. And Alhamdulillah, I'm very happy that today's lesson went well. Alhamdulillah. جزاكم الله كل خير. Thank you all. شكرا جزيلا. ومع السلامة شباب. مع السلامة. شكرا.